I need to talk to you. It has to be right now, Archangel Michael says. You feel it before you hear it, the sharp pull in your chest that says something is about to change. The room is the same, the wall clock is the same, the night is the same, but the air has shifted like a curtain lifting before a show. A message is trying to break through, and it will not be quieted. A soft wind moves without windows, circling your shoulders like a shawl, and your name rises in the hush. You don't know if your heart is beating too fast, or if time is trying to keep up with you. In the space between your inhale and exhale, a voice finds you. I need to talk to you. It has to be right now. The voice is clear, shaped like courage, and it does not ask permission to enter. It belongs to a presence that knows the architecture of your pain and the map of your hope better than you do. You look around, but there is nothing to see, only a golden outline gathering where the ceiling meets the corner of the room. It is as if the night itself is bending to listen. Your fingers tremble, not with fear, but with recognition. Listen, the voice says, and in that single word the floor steadies. I have stood guard over the doors you could not see. I have carried away the stones that were not yours to lift. I have kept count of the tears you didn't let fall in public, and I am here to tell you, the moment you asked for is standing outside your life, knocking. The knock is not literal, and yet you hear it. 1, 2, 3. It lands in your bones, gentle but unignorable. If you pretend not to hear it, it will return with thunder. If you open, it will arrive like morning. There are things you've survived that you refuse to name, the voice continues, full of the tenderness of someone who has seen the long version of your story. You have been polite to your own suffering, serving it tea and a chair in your living room. Tonight, I have come to usher it to the door. You swallow, and the sound is loud in your own ears. The clock ticks, and then, strangely, stops. The wind in the room turns warm, like a hand resting between your shoulder blades, nudging you forward. I need to talk to you right now, the voice repeats, more intimate, almost smiling. Because the window to choose a new direction is open, and I refuse to let you miss it. This message will not wait till morning, and neither should you. You picture a hallway lined with doors you never had the courage to try. Each is painted a different color, and your name is written on all of them in a script you recognize but have never learned to write. The hallway brightens, and you can see the dust that has settled there, not from neglect, but from years of telling yourself you'll try tomorrow. Tomorrow, the voice says, catching your thought, is the most decorated liar you know. It promises ease, but feeds delay. Your life is not a storage unit. Stop packing your courage into boxes marked later. Open 1. Open now. You've been waiting for a sign, you realize. Not the subtle signs, the small kindness from a stranger, the coincidence that felt too neat to be accidental, the flash of calm that visited you in last week's chaos, but a sign that takes you by the shoulders and says, "Enough." A sign that is not a hint, but a commandment of love. The presence brightens, and with it your room looks simultaneously smaller and more sacred, like a chapel built out of your ordinary. A second heartbeat arrives, yours, but also not yours, steadying your hands, steadying your breath. Here is what is true, the voice says, and the words arrive like footsteps on a path you thought was gone. You have given more than you kept. You have stayed when it was easier to leave, and left when staying would have stolen your soul. You have been told that your softness is a weakness, when in truth it is the steel through which light passes. You are not at the end. You are at an open gate. You close your eyes. Behind your eyelids, colors move like weather. Memories rise, some thorns, some petals. You wonder how many versions of yourself are waiting for you to come back and claim them. There is a letter with your name on it, the voice says, as if it were reading your mind. You wrote it without ink, in nights you stayed awake alone, in mornings you showed up anyway. I am here to deliver it back to you. A letter appears in your imagination, folded 3 times, worn at the edges from being carried too long in a pocket that was too small. You unfold it, and what's written there is not a plan, but a promise: I will not abandon myself. I will not negotiate my worth with people who cannot afford it. I will not pretend smaller to keep company with fear. Good, the voice says, kind and firm. Now we are talking. Now we are near the point where your life pivots. But first I must tell you what has been happening behind your back, beneath your doubt, and beyond your sight. You brace, unsure if you're ready to hear it. The presence leans closer, not to alarm you, but to keep you from missing a single syllable. There are meetings where your name has come up, and not all of them were fair. There are rooms where your faithfulness was misunderstood as foolishness, your patience mistaken for permission. But there were other rooms you never saw, higher rooms, truer rooms, where your integrity was spoken of like a constellation. In those rooms, your quiet miracles were counted, and your future was advocated for. You feel a heat behind your eyes. You think of the times you tried to argue for your own worth and lost the argument because you were exhausted. You think of how many times you have explained your heart to people who were not listening, and how many moments you chose to trust without evidence because something sacred told you to. In those higher rooms, the voice continues, it has been decided, the delay is over. The waiting season is closing not with a bang, but with a hinge. Doors that took years to rust shut will swing open in a day. Not because you begged, but because time agreed with truth. Outside, the wind changes direction. It is not your imagination. The world is adjusting to make space for a promise arriving. This is where I need you to be brave, the voice says. Not the kind of brave that only looks good in photographs, but the kind that chooses a new sentence when the old one is halfway through. There are conversations you must have. There are boundaries you must set with your own fear. There are opportunities you must accept without apologizing for how ready you are. A memory surfaces, the last time you said yes to something that scared you, how alive your hands felt afterward, how sleep came easy that night. The memory wraps around you like a cloak that still fits. Someone will contact you soon, the voice says, plain as weather. Not as a test, but as a corridor. Do not over-practice your humility here. Answer. Step through. When your name is called, don't pretend you're not home. You nod before you realize you're nodding. Your body is answering for you. The spine knows what the mind is still negotiating. I need to talk to you right now, the voice says again, and the words strike true, lighting up a panel of switches inside you. Not because you are failing, but because you're about to succeed in a way that scares your old life. The good news is heavier than you expect. Train your arms to carry it by letting go of what is not yours. Images flicker, a closet full of obligations that never fit, a drawer of second chances for people who never used the first, a calendar crowded with appointments you made with your own anxiety. You are suddenly aware of how much space is taken up by what you don't want, the voice says. Make room like a person who knows a guest of honor is on the way. It is not superstition to prepare, it is alignment. Put fresh water in the vase. Open the curtains. Write the email you've been avoiding. Delete the number you're done calling. Call the friend who calls you back. You laugh once, soft and true, surprised by how simple the instructions are. The presence turns its head slightly, as if listening to a choir far away that has just found your note. You are entering the season where relief and responsibility arrive together, the voice explains. The blessing will not come to babysit you, it will come to partner with you. Your peace will not be passive, it will make demands. It will ask you to escort chaos to the door, even when chaos is wearing the face of an old fear. You think of the stories you have told yourself about who you must be to be loved. You think of the masks that began as armor and turned into habit. You think of how heavy it is to pretend you are smaller than your calling. Take the mask off, the voice urges, gentle as rainfall. It did its job. It let you pass certain storms without breaking. But it is not oxygen. You are allowed to be seen by the life that belongs to you. You do not need to audition for your own future. The room seems to widen. The furniture looks rearranged, though you didn't touch it. The clock begins to tick again, not ominous, but rhythmic, as if keeping time with your spine straightening. Here is what comes next, the voice says, practical and luminous. You will receive a message within days, yes, days, that presents a choice. It will feel like too much and exactly right at the same time. Say yes. Your yes will not violate your boundaries, it will validate your growth. Shortly after, a second invitation will appear wearing the disguise of an interruption. Don't mislabel it. It is the companion opportunity to the first. You can feel old fears looking for the exit, impatient and loud. They run in circles for a moment, realizing that tonight, finally, there is no chair left for them to sit in. Do not evacuate your courage when nerves arrive, the voice says with a warm hum. Nerves are not danger, they are electricity. They are the current that powers your next vow. Let them hum, but don't let them speak for you. You breathe in and feel taller. The night is not so heavy now. The presence is closer, and yet larger, like a lighthouse that stepped off the cliff to stand beside you. I need to talk to you. It has to be right now, the voice says for the last time, and the last time lands like a seal on an envelope. Because the timing of your life is aligning in ways you will only understand in retrospect, and I came so you would not sabotage your own dawn by staying loyal to twilight. Light gathers in the corner, then pours across the floor in a slow, golden river. The quiet is not empty anymore, it is full, like a cup the size of a room. Your name sounds different, even in your own mouth, less apology, more declaration. Now, the voice says, there is a smaller thing that matters because it is the key to the bigger one. Choose words that honor what you are building. Speak to yourself the way you speak to someone you love. Stop narrating doom. Your self-talk is an architect, it keeps drawing the blueprint you use. You think of sentences you could retire tonight. You think of one you could begin. You try it on in your head. I trust the new way I am growing. It doesn't sound arrogant. It sounds like truth leaning forward. Good, the presence says, and the gold brightens. And now, a practical mercy, rest. Not as a reward for productivity, but as proof of trust. Let your body learn the grammar of safety. Sleep will do a work you can't do awake. When morning comes, you will find that the heaviness you expected is missing, and in its place is a lightness that knows how to lead. You imagine morning and do not dread it. You imagine the first text you'll send. You imagine the journal page you will not tear out. You imagine breakfast tasting like the first time you laughed after a long winter. The future is no longer a debate, the voice says. It is a direction. Step into it barefoot, so you can feel how warm the ground has become. There have been angels ahead of you widening the path. Your job is to walk it, not explain it to everyone who stayed. The wind that had encircled you now rests, like a shawl folded on the back of a chair. The presence moves toward the doorway, but does not exit, it expands, becoming a horizon rather than a visitor. You won't do this alone, the voice assures. Not because you are incapable, but because love refuses to let you carry what community can share. Look for the hands that rise without you asking. Trust the ones that are steady, not loud. Let kindness be your algorithm. You blink, and the room is both the same and entirely different. The clock keeps time. The carpet is still the carpet. And yet, inside you, a river that had been frozen has broken and is moving, elegant and sure. One more thing, the voice says, and there is a smile in it that makes you want to stand taller. When you receive the thing you have asked for and prepared for, don't explain your joy into silence. Wear it. Let it light the hallway of your days. Let it teach you to expect good without apologizing. You think of all the ways you have tried to make yourself acceptable to other people's limits. You think of how often you've been the strongest person in the room, and how tired that made you. You think of finally being free to be strong without being alone. This is your permission slip, the voice says. This is your green light. I am speaking now so that when the old lies knock tomorrow, you can point at tonight and say, I already answered. The presence rises, as if taking its rightful place in the architecture of your life rather than hovering over it. The golden light becomes an atmosphere you can breathe, not a spotlight that interrogates. Walk forward, the voice instructs. Make the call. Send the proposal. Accept the invitation. Decline the chaos. Put the flowers in the vase. Open the curtains. Trust the yes. Keep your heart available to wonder and unavailable to manipulation. A calm arrives that is not fragile. It is the kind of calm that knows how to say no to a storm, the kind that reorders a room without moving a single piece of furniture. You feel taller than your fear. You feel older than your past. You feel exactly the age of your courage. Your timing is not late, the voice says, almost a whisper. You are right on time to your own life. I came tonight to make sure you knew. And then it is quiet, but not empty. The stillness is friendly, as if the room itself is proud of you. The clock, polite, continues. Somewhere outside, a car passes. Somewhere inside, old doors unlock and swing outward, into air that smells like rain and new wood. You stand. Not dramatically. Just as a person who has decided. You walk to the window and lift the curtain. Night looks back at you with 100 small lights, as if the city were full of tiny, patient stars. You breathe, and the breath tastes like tomorrow without worry. I need to talk to you, the voice had said. It has to be right now. You heard. You answered. You are ready. In the weeks that follow, you will notice how often the world tries to talk you out of your own clarity. You will learn the difference between a warning and a habit of doubt. You will practice refusing the bait of urgency that comes without wisdom, and you will welcome the urgency that arrives with peace. People will say you look different. They won't be wrong. You will send that message you've been afraid to send and discover that your voice carries farther than you believed. You will put your phone down and pick your life up. You will experience the strange kindness of being at home in your own choices. Nights will sleep easier, not because nothing is happening, but because you are no longer negotiating with fear at 2 a.m. When the first invitation arrives, exactly as promised, you will feel the old panic rise and you will greet it like a passerby, not a tenant. You will say, "I expected you," and then you will say, "I am busy." You will accept the invitation anyway. You will notice the floor does not collapse. You will notice the sky does not fall. You will notice the path ahead grows wider because you finally stopped standing in the doorway. And when the second invitation comes wearing the disguise of an interruption, you will smile. You will make space. You will remember that alignment does not always send a calendar invite. You will adjust and find that your peace adjusts with you, like a well-trained sail catching a kinder wind. There will be moments when old stories return, loud and persuasive, offering you the stale safety of what you already know. You will listen for a moment, then choose your new sentence. You will say it out loud. You will write it down. You will build a day that believes it. If tears come, they will be the easy kind, not the heavy ones you carried for strangers who mistook your grace for a doormat. These will be tears that wash dust off doors. These will be tears that water seeds. These will be tears that signal the end of drought. You will forgive what you can and release what you can't. You will learn that letting go is not an insult to your loyalty, it is a pledge to your future. You will keep your promises to yourself quietly, and the quiet will be loud enough. People who love you will cheer louder than your doubt. People who cannot meet you will drift, not because you are hard to love, but because you are finally easy to lose if someone refuses growth. You will bless them without inviting them to stay. You will be so deeply okay that it will feel like a miracle made of ordinary choices. And somewhere in all of this, you will realize that the voice that said, "I need to talk to you," has never left. It is woven into your mornings now. It rides in the passenger seat while you drive. It makes grocery lists with you. It laughs when you laugh. It steadies you in rooms where old anxiety tries to audition. It is not a visitor. It is a presence. It is guidance that wears your life like a tailored suit. You will not need perfect language to keep going. You will need honest steps. 1 hour at a time, one call at a time, one brave boundary at a time. Small is not insignificant, it is how mountains are moved by people with both hands free. On a day not far from now, you will walk into a room and feel how the air makes way for you. A conversation will begin in a tone that respects you. You will notice that you are not performing. You will notice that you are not shrinking. You will notice that your feet are planted, not because you refuse to leave, but because you finally arrived. That night, you will come home and set your keys down and smile at nothing. You will thank the hour that spoke and the heart that listened. You will pour a glass of water and drink it like a toast to your own endurance. You will sleep, and the sleep will be gentle and deep, with dreams that are not warnings but rehearsals for joy. If anyone asks you what changed, you will say, "I did." If they press, you will say, I stopped asking permission from my fear. If they still don't understand, you will wish them well and continue. This is how your life opens, not with a parade, but with an answered knock. Not with everyone's approval, but with your own agreement. Not with a script you borrowed, but with a voice that came to you in the night and said, with love and urgency, I need to talk to you. It has to be right now. And you listened. And you spoke back. And you walked forward. That is the whole secret anyone ever needed to know. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Picking up exactly where we left off, the morning after the night of gold, you wake before your alarm and don't argue with the day. You let the light find you. You let it tell the truth you heard in the dark. The hinge has turned, the old door is swinging, and your footsteps are the ceremony that completes it. You don't rush. You straighten the bed like an altar. You put water to boil, the simple kind of miracle that steam understands. You write 3 sentences on a page you usually keep for emergencies, and realize this is one, I am not delaying myself. I honor my timing. I answer what answers me. The phone buzzes. It is not thunder, but it is exact. The first invitation, dressed in a subject line that looks both bigger and kinder than you remembered ambition could be. For a second you feel that old, familiar wobble in your stomach, the echo of every room that once taught you to shrink, but the river inside you keeps moving forward. You read the message twice, and the second time you notice how plainly it fits the shape of your yes. You do not draft 1,000 replies. You do not rehearse a smaller version of yourself to send in your place. You write, yes. Thank you. I'm ready. You press send. The sky does not fall. A softness fills the room like music you forgot you liked. An hour later, the interruption arrives. Not by email this time, but by a knock that is more suggestion than sound. It comes as a neighbor asking for a minute, which becomes a conversation about old choices, which becomes an apology you never expected to receive. You listen without bending yourself into a shape that hurts. You accept without signing for a package that isn't yours. When the door closes, you understand, the second invitation wore the face of closure. You accepted that, too. You clean a drawer. It seems silly, small, unworthy of the gold you've been promised. But the drawer is a contract. It says, I will no longer live at the edge of my own life. I will make room for who I am becoming. You toss the broken things you kept out of nostalgia for an identity that needed them. Space, like a new friend, smiles back. On the third day, you take a walk with no destination but forward. The world makes a small ceremony of it. A child points at nothing and laughs. A stray leaf spins like a dancer and lands at your feet as if it knew your name. You are not superstitious, you are attentive. The difference tastes like clean air. You pass a shop window and see yourself unguarded. The posture is someone who doesn't owe the past the final say. You stop long enough to memorize the stance, shoulders unhooked from old hooks, jaw relaxed, eyes that have put down the practice of scanning for what might go wrong. You keep walking with the memory in your body. Messages begin to find you from unexpected corridors. A mentor who moved away writes a single sentence, been thinking of you, this door is open if you want it. A friend you haven't called in too long sends a voice note, proud of you, even from far. A stranger online echoes a sentence you wrote in your journal yesterday, almost word for word. You don't need proof, but you accept the kindness of confirmation. You start editing your language the way a gardener edits a hedge, gently, consistently, with a vision for the shape. You stop saying, I'm sorry, when you mean, thank you for waiting. You stop calling your rest, laziness. You name your boundaries without needing to defend them like a lawyer pleading a case. Your sentences change, and the rooms they build change with them. One evening, the letter you imagined becomes real. Not manifesting out of air, but arriving in the mail from a name you didn't expect to see. The envelope is heavy with sincerity. You sit at the table and slit it open like a door. Inside is acknowledgement you weren't chasing, the kind that doesn't polish your ego so much as read your heart back to you. You weep the easy tears, the kind that rinse dust from hinges, the kind that finish a sentence grief started and hope completes. You sleep like a promise kept. The next week tests your new stance, not with disaster, but with 3 very good options. Once upon a time, you would have chosen the one that pleased the most people. Now you choose the one that pleases the truth. It is not the loudest, it is the most aligned. As soon as you say yes, the other 2 stop pretending to be yours. Relief, not regret, fills the space they leave behind. A familiar shadow tries to join you, self-sabotage, dressed in the elegant language of "be realistic." You set a chair for it on the porch, not in the kitchen. You kept me alive once, you admit, by keeping me small. I thank you. I release you. The porch creaks like an old stage. The shadow bows, surprised, then wanders down the steps to look for another house that wants it. Phone calls take on a different weather. You notice that people who thrive on drama now find you boring, and it is the most delicious boredom you've ever felt. You give your energy receipts to no one. You discover how quiet it is to keep the peace inside you, and let the rest of the world choose whether it wants to harmonize or hum elsewhere. You keep the small rituals consistent. Water by the bed. Shoes by the door. A note card on the fridge that says, "Choose what multiplies you." When fear shows up with a microphone, you hand it a pen instead. If you must speak, you tell it, write it down first. Fear hates homework, it leaves most days without turning in anything at all. There is a meeting. The kind you once would have prepared for by shrinking half an inch. You prepare by remembering. You remember the golden room, the knocking, the letter, the apology, the walk with no destination. You remember that humility without self-erasure is just clarity wearing soft shoes. You enter the room as if the ground loves your footsteps. It does. Someone in the meeting tries the old trick, compliment with one hand, cut with the other. You see it before it lands. No, you say inside yourself, and the word creates a small force field. Out loud, you bring the conversation back to substance like a compass returning north. The room recalibrates. Respect settles like a flock of birds landing all at once on a telephone wire. After, you do not rehearse the meeting 1,000 times in your head, editing your lines, cursing yourself for being human. You eat lunch. You taste it. You text a friend a single emoji that means, "It happened, and I stayed myself." The reply returns as laughter spelled out like a blessing. At home, the light in the window finds your plants and you. The quiet is no longer the kind that punishes, it is the kind that heals. You don't fill it with noise out of habit. You let it braid itself into your spine. Days accumulate like trust. You begin to notice how often you used to make decisions from the emergency exit of your own life. Now you take the front door, keys in hand, shoulders square, the world greeting you the way a house smells right after you open all the windows. An old number lights your screen. The name is a chapter you closed without slamming. You answer with neither armor nor hunger. The voice on the other end offers a story that once would have hooked you into fixing what isn't yours. You listen, then say a sentence you practiced in the mirror for just this kind of storm: "I care about you, I will not carry this." The silence that follows is new. It is a silence that respects both of you. That night, you write down what you refused and what you received. It is a ledger of integrity that no one else needs to see.